Welcome back to the Work of Wellbeing podcast. I'm Amy Green, your host from The Wellness Strategy, and we're here to talk about all things personal and professional wellbeing. This podcast is designed to help you become curious and consider your everyday wellbeing strategies, what you do for your own wellness, and how you can start to transform your life both in and out of the workplace. Sit back, grab a cup of tea, maybe grab a notepad, a journal, and get ready to feel really enlightened about what wellbeing used to be, what it is now, and where you can take your own wellness strategy. It's probably been a little while since I shared some of my own story around my wellness approach, and I thought I'd do that today. I'm, of course, Amy from The Wellness Strategy, and I wanted to share a little bit with you about how I approach my version of wellness and what that means. Because I think over time it's evolved. I know I've written about it in different books, and I talk about it a bit, I guess. But to be honest, there really is a difference between, I think, what I was doing years ago and what I was doing now and what I do now. And sometimes it changes week to week as well. I turned 40 this year, which is great. And when I think about what I used to do for my wellness strategy as a 20, 25-year-old, even 30-year-old, it is very different to what I do now. And things evolve over time. I think that's really wonderful. But I guess I just want to highlight in this episode that it's okay if you're like, oh, I'm not sure, or I'm not doing as well as I was years ago, or how do I get back to a place that's really about being happy and healthy. So I just want to share with you my thinking process around this and perhaps shed some light or give you some inspiration or just maybe make you feel like, you're not alone here. So before I started this year, 2025, I actually sat down and thought, what is really important to me as I embark on another year doing this wonderful work that I'm doing that also aligns with the life I want to live? Because I think this is a shift I've made over the past probably 5 or 10 years. And that is not looking at wellness or well-being or health as a checklist and a bunch of things to do to try and then fit them in around my life. It's actually coming up from a life perspective first. So what is my life involve? And then how do I build in what I need for my health and wellness around that? So my life is quite different to what it looked like when I was in a classroom, which sometimes I love, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I could just go back to teaching, which would be a joy. And so because of that, things look a little bit different. I don't have a lot of routine. And I don't have kids, but I imagine if you're someone who has kids, it's probably not as smooth sailing either. It's definitely up and down, or maybe you've just started a new job, or maybe you've moved house, or maybe you've got something going on in your family. Like, life is just always up and down. This idea that we can have the same routine over and over, I think, is a myth. If you're chasing that, you probably need to let that idea go, because it's just not something that's attainable for all of us all of the time. And I think what happens then is we've set ourselves up to live life alongside this routine that we crave, but the routine never actually happens in the way that we want it to, because life happens and then we feel like we can't do anything or we're not doing anything good enough. And so at the start of this year, I thought, right, I am not thinking like this anymore. Instead am going to flip this. And so I have started going, what does my life look like? Pretty much on a week-to-week basis, because, well, I don't know, that's all I can manage. That's what works for me. So each week I think, okay, what does my life look like? Where am I? Sometimes I'm traveling. What are my priorities this week? What do I already have in my calendar? How does that look? How's it going to make me feel? And that's been a new question. How is this going to make me feel? So if I am traveling, or if I have a really big delivery day, it's highly likely that I am going to be quite tired at the end of that. And this is something I've had to learn to deal with, because I didn't necessarily understand how much it would impact me. And I thought I could just keep doing the same things, but turns out I can't. And so I've had to adjust and shift. So now I look at my calendar or my weeks in week blocks and go, okay, these are all the things I've got happening. What do I want to put around that to support my health and wellness and well-being? And so I have some non-negotiables that I really align, I guess, to my core values that allow me to be able to make these decisions in a way that's meaningful for me. So you need to know this, first of all. You need to know, okay, what things do I want to build around my life that support my health, wellness, and well-being? And they may be different. But for me, it really is about sleep. That's a really core thing for me. So being able to have a really good night's sleep. And I'm in bed for about 9 hours. I'm not going to lie there. I may not be sleeping that whole time, half an hour wind down, half an hour waking up-ish. But, I try and get 8.5 hours sleep. Sleeping make me yawning. My gosh, how funny. So I know that has to fit into my schedule. And that means when I look at my calendar, if I am traveling, I need to think, okay, well, literally, what time am I going to bed? What time am I going up? Because am I getting up? Because my other second core value is movement. Some days it's going to the gym, some days it's a Pilates class, some days it's a run, some days it's a walk, some days it's stretching, some days it's just going out and picking up a coffee and coming back home or back to the hotel or on my way to the school or workplace I'm at, conference, whatever it is. But there has to be an element of movement. Sometimes it happens in the afternoon at the end of the day where I've been working. And so I look at my calendar and I go, okay, when can I fit in this movement? Most often I try and do it in the mornings, but that's not always available. So sometimes I do shift it to an afternoon, especially if I'm delivering all day, because I know at the end of those days, a bit like teaching, or being in a school after being surrounded by people and noise and having to be on, I need that space, what the wonderful Adam Fraser calls the third space. I need to be able to step into that to create a shift between work and home, or work and chill time, even depending on what I'm doing. And so movement for me becomes a really key non-negotiable that has to fit into my weekly schedule. Another thing that I really put in there is rest. Now, this is different to sleep, but rest has become so important for me, especially I think as I get older, and I'm learning that rest doesn't make me lazy, and there are so many different ways to rest. If you're not familiar with Sandra Dalton Smith's work on the 7 types of rest, I definitely recommend it. You can Google it. You'll find some of her podcasts or TED Talks. I also include a module on the 7 types of rest in our swim membership that you can join and facilitate with all staff. It's really eye-opening. And so now what I try and do is incorporate rest into the day, even when I'm working. So if I am driving somewhere or even sitting in an Uber, I will actually engage in sensory rest in this time. So if I'm not driving, so I'm using public transport or something like that, I will use this as a time to close my eyes and do some gentle meditation or breathing. If I am driving, I might turn all of the noises off, so the radio off, my Bluetooth off so no one can call me, and use it as a time to sit in silence. Again, doing some deep breathing, definitely not closing my eyes though. I also try and build in emotional or mental rest during the day by going for a walk, by getting outside with sunlight and using nature, which actually connects me to spiritual rest. And I even engage in creative rest throughout the day. So doing a little bit of colouring in or drawing, or perhaps an art project that I have going. There's always something happening, just to allow my mind to switch off. And in workplaces, this can look like having shared colouring ins that you're doing. It can look like doing a puzzle. It can look like stepping outside into an outdoor space and perhaps just having a coffee and even debriefing about how your day is going if you're doing some kind of mental rest. So they are the biggest things for me at the moment, along with, of course, nutrition, which is always there and becomes, what do I need to get prepared so I can eat well tomorrow or eat well this week? That's it. Like, if I can kind of get those 4 things happening across the week, I know I'm going to feel good. I know I'm going to work well. I know I'm going to be more productive. I know I'm going to be more focused. I'm going to be happier. I'm going to be more engaged. I'm going to be better for those that I'm working with, and also those that I am spending time with, and my family, and giving my energy to. You see, this is all about energy as much as it is a wellness strategy. So for me, it's looking at my week and going, okay, what do I need to do to make sure I get the right sleep? When am I going to do my movement? What will that look like? How do I need to move my gym schedule around, or my Pilates class? When am I going to do a walk? When am I going to do a run? If I don't get everything done, that's okay, but I try and do most things most weeks. How can I build in moments of rest? And that actually is also like, what environment am I in? Am I in a room where there's natural light? If not, and sometimes that happens, I have to make sure I go outside at break times and get that natural light. It's so crucial for our health. And then, of course, nutrition. I mean, they sound pretty simple, and they sound a bit like, well, it's all to do with physical well-being, but it's not. It's actually to do with energy management, which then filters into my mental and emotional well-being as well. It's crucial. So I think in terms of, what does wellness look like and how do you do it and how do we go about it? How do we fit everything in? Don't fit everything in. Come back to, what does my week look like and what are the non-negotiables I'm going to build around my week, rather than trying to fit your week in around all the things that you want to do. Because let's be honest, we could be trying to look after our health and wellness all day, every day, and still not feel like we're doing enough. So we have to have compassion. We have to have kindness. We have to have awareness. If I have a really busy week, this is all I can manage today or this week, and that's okay because I'm doing the best I can with what I have. So take that with you and use it. Maybe go and look at your week for next week and ask yourself, what does my week look like? And what are some things that I know impact my health, wellness, and well-being? And how can I weave them into my week, rather than trying to weave our week around everything we think we should do? If you need any more tips, we have our swim membership. So please check that out. If you're working in a school or a school leader, And this is what you need to be able to do some of this work with your staff, but also drive core pieces of change around staff wellbeing and improvement, hence SWIM, Staff Wellbeing and Improvement membership, as well as give everyone in your school community access to a individual wellbeing course where they can learn all about what we've talked about today and a whole lot more. If you need anything, please contact me via email, LinkedIn, whatever it is for you. And as always, have a great day, night, evening, whatever time of day it is, and I will see you somewhere soon. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really do hope you have enjoyed it. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you take action following something you heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can do to support your own wellbeing and wellness journey, whether it's another topic you'd like me to discuss or whether it's support in your school, workplace, or individually. And if you do know someone who might benefit from listening to this, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or suggest my Instagram, my website, or LinkedIn where they can find out more about me and what I do. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.